All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another great spotlight session. Today's guest, we have one of our own, Miss Jennifer Anderson. Give it up for Jen one time. Ooh, go Jen. Jen is one of our newer agents. She's been in for about a year now. She just had one of her biggest breakthrough months so far. She is, on her way, to getting to the next step, the next level, and things like that. So I thought it would be good for her to come on and give us some background about her experience in real estate, what got her in, where she is now, things like that going forward. So without further ado, I'm going to start this interview with Miss Jen. Jen, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for inviting me.
Absolutely. So, Jen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, before I got into real estate, I actually was working for an industrial supply company called McMaster Car Supply.
Mhm.
I was with that company for 20 years. And I liked it while I was there for the most part until when I got near the end, it was starting to get a little stale for me. And I felt like I needed more. I wanted something that was a little bit more free. I felt like I was too boxed in with the 9 to 5, same people every day. And I felt like I just needed something more. But once I got into that realization that I really wanted to do something more, I
Mhm.
also entered into the phase of starting to go through a divorce. So as I started to go through that process, I had to put on hold my escape plan from my job. And while I was going through that divorce, full disclosure, I ultimately got fired from my job. So, so I got let go from my job. But honestly, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. I just cannot tell you because I was able to spend a year off just like chilling, getting my mind straight. As any of you, if any of you have gone through a divorce, it is not easy. It changed me going through that process. So I got to take a year to just woo-side, take a minute. And I always knew I wanted to do something in real estate. I didn't know in what capacity. I didn't know if it was going to be on the investor side, if I wanted to be a real estate agent. But I finally decided to take the leap and I signed up to take the test. And I ended up here. I looked at some of the local brokerages around me, but I ended up calling, I thought I was calling Princeton, not the Belmead one. And I got Lawrence, and nothing is by accident. Like I'm a believer in God, and I feel like everything is on purpose. And it led me to Lawrence. And when I had my first conversation with Lawrence, I loved Lawrence. Okay, I'm telling you, I loved like he was just very forthcoming. He was very he gave me a lot of information in our initial conversation. And I talked to other brokerages. He was the only one that followed up with me. So the key to down the line follow up is key. Even in our,
Mhm.
and I'm learning this the more and more as I do this, follow up is key. Since Lawrence followed up with me, I'm like, okay, he cares. Nobody else cared to say, okay, how you doing? Did you want to come to us? They didn't give a damn. Lawrence did, so here I am, and I'm so glad this is where I ended up.
Thank you for that. I appreciate it. When you first started, what did you think real estate would be like versus what it actually was?
For one, I would say because if any of you have interacted with me, like, I'm very social. Like, I don't mind talking to people. I thought that alone was gonna be enough to oh, people gonna be signing up with me. I'm gonna have business right and left. It's more than just your personality and what you bring to the table. And this is a business. I spent my whole 20 years of my work life being an employee. Being an employee is very different than running a business. And me not having constraints on time, like when I was working, it was like you go to lunch at 12:15, you go to break at 3:25. Like they told you what you were doing with your time all day. It's like you have a whole day. It's like go work. Do what you do, figure it out. And if you don't have a plan and a schedule for your day, now, mind you, it took me a long time to come to the realization that I need to set up time blocks, set up time for my day, set up some goals and all of that. So to me, transitioning from employee mindset to a business owner entrepreneur mindset to me was the biggest. And I'm still transitioning as we speak.
Mm. Okay, you went a while, like you just said, with no deals, right? With
Yeah.
nothing going on, nothing in your pipeline.
Well, I'm gonna cut
Well,
I came through the door as soon as I got my license. So my anniversary just hit. October 3rd was my anniversary. As soon as I went live, I had two transactions going, right? So I had a listing and I had a buyer I was working with right out the gate. So I was like, oh, Suki, let's go. And so the buyer that I was working with, I had that buyer. I was working with that buyer for 6 months. I live in East Windsor. They were looking for homes in Burlington County. So I was working with this family. It was a family for 6 months, okay, taking them to Burlington County anywhere from 1 to 3 times a week, like putting miles on my car 1 to 3 times a week, 6 months, every week, going to show them homes. We finally locked something down. We were starting to go through the process. By the end of the 6 months, we were in a deal. We were under contract, literally like 3 days from close, the deal fell apart. They decided, and it was ultimately ended up being on the part of the lender was not communicating with them well, and
Mhm.
because there was a lapse in communication, they were in a situation where where they were living, they were renting. The owner of that place was selling it, so they had a deadline to when they had to be out, and
Mhm.
we were in the closing process, and we kept having hiccups, credit hiccups along the way. And when it came to the end of it, there was some final communication where they thought they weren't going to be approved, like literally 3 days before, and they
Mhm.
didn't want to lose a rental opportunity. So they took their down payment money and they bought an apartment. So after
Mhm.
all of that 6 months of working with this family, deal was done. I was like, okay. But I learned so much from that process. I
Mhm.
learned how to put an offer in. I learned how to, go and show them properties. Like I learned so much during that process. So then that was one side. The other side was a listing. I had a listing right out the gate. So I learned how to actually list the property, do all of the things. But let me tell y'all, that listing is still there right now. Like I'm still trying to sell that same listing. So while it seemed like everything was going good right out the gate, it has been a struggle to bring me to my August month where I actually had a sale on the buy side and the sell side. And the reason why I
Mhm.
finally secured that one, honestly, was because I made a decision to sign up for Realtor.com leads. And I did that early in the year. Like to me, my mindset is you have to spend money to make money. Like that's how I
Mhm.
think. And no matter what, I'm like, this is my business. So I considered it as an investment in my business. I was spending, to me, was quite a bit. Like my monthly rate for my Realtor.com leads is $384. But I put that on my credit card. So I I put it on my
Offset
credit
the
card. I
price a
didn't have
little
that in
bit.
cash.
Right,
I
right,
don't
right.
recommend that for any of you out there necessarily, but that was the decision I decided to make because, like I said, I felt like I wanted to invest in my business. And I felt like by the end of the year, I just knew in my soul that it would pay dividends in the long run. And it did ultimately, because when you kind of do the math of it, I was spending for the year, my annual thing for the year is $4,617. I ended up securing so far two deals, but I have a couple that I'm working that have come
Mhm.
through Realtor.com. I ultimately, with those two deals, I made $26,000. This is not including the 30% that you have to take off the top, but $26,000. And then my take home was 18. So the Realtor.com fee, my net was $13,000. So ultimately, for me, it was worth
Mhm.
it. It was ultimately worth it.
Cool.
But
What
one of
would
the
you
one
say
things
what would you say was the hardest part of being a new agent for you?
just learning the ropes of everything you have to do. To me, it's like information overload. You know what I'm saying? There's so many different things that you have to learn. Like, forget just getting all the information in your head to take the test. Like all of the steps that you have to take, even while I was in the midst of, learning how to do the buy side and the sell side, there
Mhm.
are so many things you have to know, all the little nuances, the little itty bitty gritty things. And it's like we have a great network, like our WhatsApp network is wonderful that you can go ahead and put in a question and people can answer things for you. But sometimes if it's like 10:30 at night and you're trying to write a contract and you got a question because you ain't never done it before and no one's answering and it's crickets, you know what my best friend was? Chat
Chat
GPT.
GPT.
Okay. Chat GPT got me through my first two transactions. Like I can't even tell you. It helped me write addendums, any questions that I had. It really, really was super helpful. So that $20 that you spend it is worth more than that $20 a month. So I can
Mhm.
absolutely say that.
Hey, Jennifer, can I ask you a question if you don't mind?
Sure.
So, you know, how difficult was it for you to make that choice of spending the $400 a month? I mean, at that point, you hadn't done any deals, right?
No.
Yeah, because I think, what I'm trying to highlight here is, you went out, you took an entrepreneurial risk and you made a bet on yourself, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
That you were going to make it happen, and that it's going to cost you $5,000 by the end of this year, or like within your first 12 months.
Yeah.
And but you made, you know, your net that you're going to make is, after you pay everything, is $14,000. That's a great return on investment. Like you said, you have some other deals in the pipeline that are cooking. But I want you to really, I want to know what that thought process was when you were considering spending that money, because that's a lot.
Yeah.
When you're just starting out, that's a big investment. So if you can touch upon that.
Yeah, I mean, for me and the way I operate and I move, I'm always willing to make an investment on myself, period. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in myself. I know I can, I'm like, something's gonna happen. If you believe it will happen, it will. So you know what I'm saying? If you go into it and you say, okay, I'm gonna put this money in, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if I'm gonna get my money. Then guess what? If you doubting that it's going to pay dividends, it's not. But I was betting on that it was, so it did. Like I said, my concept really is that you have to spend money to make money. Like that, I'm willing to take that risk and hope and pray and believe that it will work out on the back end.
What is that's awesome. What is because I think a lot of new agents, they really struggle with the fact that they have to invest in themselves and their own businesses, right? Um,
Hmm.
and what is your follow up? Like, what do you do? And we talked a little bit about this a couple weeks ago. So please be very candid. What is your follow up, and um, how do you feel you can possibly improve that?
Well, I'm in the process of learning that now, the importance of follow up. I honestly I feel like through this year that I've been going through this process, I've definitely had some missed opportunities in not having a clear follow up plan and process. So now I'm starting to get that underway now, where I'm like keeping a list and having dates to say, okay, I talked to this person on this date, I'm gonna follow up on this date. Like I'm starting to schedule it more to make sure that I'm doing the follow up, and I feel like that's follow up is key. I'm learning it right and left that follow up is key. Follow up when you don't get them the first time, you go back the second, the third, the
Mhm.
fourth, and you kind of just beat them over the head. You know what I'm saying? They're like, all right, like okay. But yeah, I feel like follow up is key. And the one thing that I learned for me in particular, especially with signing up for realtor.com. When I first signed up, I signed up in January. When I first signed up, I said, I'm the type of person where I really cannot stand when you do something on the website and then your phone rings. I'm like, well, damn, leave me alone. Give me a minute. Like, even though I put my information in, I don't like my phone to ring 2 seconds after I hit send. And so when I went into it, my plan was I'm going to send them a text. I'm going to, add my little virtual business card and let them know I'm here so that they can reach out to me at their convenience, because I didn't want to be too pushy. But 3 months went by of me getting these leads, and now one person called me back. Okay. And so at month 3, I was like, okay, this is not working. I need to make sure I'm talking to these people. And so once I hit month 3, as soon as a lead comes through, I'm like, hello, hi, how are you? I'm Jennifer. How can I help you? And so that has gotten me people like showing them stuff. That has led to the deal that I had in August. I ended up talking to a couple, and he told me straight out, the my client that I ended up having, when I called him, we ended up getting into a conversation because he was an empty nester. And so I talked to him about that. I'm like, how's that going? I said, I know sometimes, when you have a couple, now that you don't have the kids and you actually have to deal with just each other, I was like, sometimes it doesn't go so well. I'm like, how's it going? And so he was laughing, and we ended up laughing over that. And I took them out on their first outing for what they called for, and we got along. It took me up to the third outing for them to say, him and his wife said, we like you. So they signed an exclusive deal with me. But the one thing he did say to me is, he said, I got texts. He said, how does this work? Because I got texts from other realtors. He was like, but you called me. He said, so you got me. I said, okay, you know what I'm saying? So that told me right there, the fact that I picked up the phone and I called versus texting was the difference between those other agents. So I would absolutely say, if you sign up for whether it's realtor.com or something else, calling is key. Getting them on the phone right away is key.
I agree. Jen, so you invested in your lead generation, right? Have
Yes.
you invested in any other things as far as like training, for example?
Yeah, actually, well, one of the things, this is not, I wouldn't say training per se, but one
Mhm.
of the things that I pay for monthly is something called the Growth Day app
Mhm.
with Brenda Burchard. And it has been, I'm telling you, amazing. They have something called the Daily Fire, where literally every day he gives you like a little boost. Has a different topic every single day. They talk about goals, they talk about mindset, like every single day, 365 days. Every morning you click in it and you listen to it. They have all these different modules of other trainers, Ed Milet, Mel Robbins. I mean, it is just a wealth of information. So I feel like that, and that's $49 a month. Okay. And I feel like that is the best investment I could have ever made as well. I pay for that. I also pay for coaching quite a bit, like a few $1,000s. I pay for coaching just because, like I said, switching from an employee mindset to an entrepreneur mindset is very different. And so I have needed that additional support in order to keep me on the straight and narrow and setting my goals and what is it I'm trying to achieve. Because my concept of what I thought it was going to be is different. Like, it really takes more structure and intention to move your business along.
Abhishek, you had a question?
Yeah, that's very interesting, and like I just want to share. I was in the same boat. I started in May, June of this year, and in the second month, I had like almost like very close to closing two deals, and then both of them fell off, exactly like yours, Jennifer. So that's very interesting, and I can relate to that. Though I would like to, if you can kindly share the app name you just mentioned. And
Yeah, the Growth Day app. I'll actually send it in the chat once we sign off of here.
Okay.
And just so all of you know, it comes with a 7-day free trial. So
Mhm.
I'll send the link. You can sign on for 7 days, try it out. I'll be shocked if you don't feel like it's worth it after the 7 days, because I'm telling you, each and every morning, especially in those mornings when you're starting to feel beat down and you're like, okay, stuff is still not quite working like I want. He always has something to like have you think about the way you're framing something or what new you can do. Like, he's talking to people in all different areas of life, but I'm telling you, it's always something that you can use to help build yourself and build your business.
Thank you.
When you had your month, I would say, last
Mhm.
month, what did that feel like for you?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I really was so excited because, mind you, how I said, I started out the gate thinking it was going to be like, oh, okay, this is gonna be things are gonna be popping, and then to have a listing that I still haven't sold and still have a deal fall through, to finally have it come to fruition and I finished both transactions, and to feel it on both sides, because one was a buy side and one was a sell side.
Mhm.
I can't tell you, it gives you the fuel, because once you get that check and you like, I got some dollars in my bank account, it fuels you to want to do more. That really gave me the fuel to actually start wanting to do more, like do the next thing and do the next thing and make sure, like, really do my follow-up list and really do my goal setting. And those are the things that really get you pumped, because once you get a little piece of getting a paycheck, it's like, come on, let's get some more. What can I do to get some more?
Good. What would be, so what advice would you give to an agent still waiting on their first deal?
I mean, you have to keep doing what you need to do every day to go out and get it. I would definitely say, like, when I'm out and about, I'm on social media. So the thing how Joe Kozo always says, like, don't be a special secret agent. Like,
Mhm.
make sure everybody knows you are a real estate agent, whether it be through your social media circles, whether it be through your friends and family. I just got me, y'all, if those of you who follow me on social media, I just got a car magnet so that every freaking place I go, they see I'm a real estate agent. You know what I'm saying? When I'm in the grocery store, just this weekend, I was in the grocery store. And when you have these little quick interactions with people and you know it goes well and you're laughing with someone, before I walk away from them, I'll say, do you have a realtor in your circle? Because some people might have they might be one, or their parent might be one, or somebody in their circle might be one. So I ask that question first. Do you have a realtor in your circle? And if they say no, I hand them my card and I say to them, you know, you don't just need a realtor in your life to buy and sell property. I said, we are a great connection to have, because we are connected to all these other industries, whether it's contractors, whether it's a landscaper, whether it's a lawyer. I was like, and these are vetted people because we use them. I said, so if you are looking for someone that is real estate related or real estate adjacent, you call me. And so that is, to me, that's your end. So you have to make sure you're always putting yourself out there and letting people know, hey, I'm an agent, especially if
Mhm.
you have a positive interaction with them. They're going to connect that, you know, that positive interaction and say, okay, yeah, maybe I'll call her when they're looking to do a transaction or needing your help. Because really, we're here just to be of assistance to people in whatever capacity that is, which could ultimately lead to a sale or a buy.
How do you deal with, and this is common in our industry, I would say, especially new agents, experienced agents, it doesn't matter what level you're at, but how do you deal with self-doubt or comparison, I would say?
Uh, Honestly, just how I said, a big part of that, I have my own processes that I go through in the morning. You know, I believe in God, so I pray, I meditate, I use my Growth Day app. I'm telling you, the Growth Day app is really what keeps my mind set positive. Like, even when you have all those dry months, those having those little things that you do keeps me. That's what keeps me being positive.
Keeps you going. You found your thing. So you would,
Yeah,
so
for
I would
me.
say that for everyone thinking or having those same doubts, you have to find
You have
your
to
thing.
find, yeah, what works for you. That's going to sustain you during those dry, lean months.
Right. So what's next for you now that you hit this milestone?
I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm doing. I also, and the other thing that I wanted to just say too, how I said when you're out talking to people, you know, stay involved. Like I volunteer. Like, what better way to put yourself in circles where you're serving your community and interacting with other people? If they see that you're serving your community, then, you know, and they have good interactions with you in those spaces, then when the time comes and they know you're a realtor, why wouldn't they possibly reach out? It's like, you want to be, what do you call it? Planting these seeds all over the place.
Mhm.
And the other piece I also wanted to say, I didn't want to. Yesterday, I went to the MJAR had DEI seminar. It was amazing. It really was. The topics that they cover, why it is important, because as realtors, you know, we need to be involved in DEI, because guess what? You don't want clients that just look like you. You want clients that look like the rainbow. So, in order for you to be able to appeal to the masses, you kind of need to have that mindset of how can you relate to this person over here? How can a man relate to a woman? How can a black person relate to an Asian person? How, like, those things are all very important because we need to be with everyone. So that going back to the point of training, like going to all of these things that are available to us, like everything that is being offered within Keller Williams in our brokerage, all the trainings. I try to go to almost anything I can go to. If I am not at something that is being offered by us, it's either because I'm going to another training or I straight up have some other plan. Like, stay getting training as much as you can, even for you seasoned people, because there's always sometimes a new seed that you will learn from these trainings and interactions that you're having.
Hmm. I agree. So what would be and we could start wrapping. We could do this for days with her. We talk a lot, me and Jen.
Yes.
So what would be so what would you say success means for you now? Like, because you were able to go through the motions, you had your year, you finally made it through your year, you had a breakout month. What does success look for you now? What is success like for you now?
To me, it really is making sure I'm getting all the foundational things set. Like, I'm being straight honest. Like, I have not set up my smart plans. Like, I'm a year in and still didn't do it. Like, I thought they give us the guidelines of all the things we need to do. But for me, when I first started out, because honestly, because I really did have a buy and a sell right off the gate, I was in it doing it. So those steps that I literally was going to go through, they kind of went to the wayside because I was in it, doing it, learning it as I was going. And that's how it's been, since that point, because while I was in that, other stuff was going on. So right now, it's me wanting to get all the foundational stuff, like really getting my follow up, because those people that I have connected with, but they haven't either moved forward with anything yet. I want to make sure that I keep following up with them, but have a systematic way of doing it. So setting the foundation for that, for my follow up, making sure like my all of my business things are in order. I know they you guys posted something of getting your business right for 2023, a seminar that's going to happen on the 23rd. Like, I'm going to do that. Like, I really just want to make sure my business is in order. And like I said, it really has been a transition for me going from an employee to an entrepreneur. So I really want to firm up all the guidelines of running my business.
I like that. That's nice. If you could provide one quote or mantra that you live by that keeps you moving forward every day, what would it be?
Well, one of the things I'm also doing, I have a few things that I do on the side. I also have an investment property that I'm working with. And I'm also about to get into something else. And one of the things that they kept saying in it is I can, I will, I must. And I feel like that to me encompasses like everything. Like, I can, you can do it, I will do it, I must do it. Like, all those things that you need to do to make your business successful, I can, I will, I must. Like, to me, that is my mantra for right now.
I love that. I love that.
Hmm.
Thank you. Do you
Hmm.
guys have any questions for Jen?
Lawrence, I don't have a question because Jen answered everything, but I need to give her a huge shout out. For one thing, she has not mentioned is how hard she works.
Mm-hmm.
So, hard work is also putting yourself out there to do anything which comes your way. Jennifer met me when she joined Keller Williams. I remember I invited her and she willingly jumped at the opportunity to do an open house with me. We had the most amazing conversation when we were at the open house. She really is a very fast learner. She is willing to work hard. She has really helped me do small chores. Like I said, Jennifer, the when I sold the home, the buyers had moved in. I didn't get a chance to go there and get my lockbox back. She ran for me. She didn't need to. So her ability to be a part of a team, her ability to read to for anybody to reach out to her, and her responding within 2 minutes of me calling her is also a huge part of anybody's success. It's not just that she helped me, but she really knows how to grab opportunities and work hard towards it. Hard work. She has a schedule. She has a child. She has school schedules. But she says, no problem, I'll go get the key. And that home was difficult because it was a 55 plus with a gate. So we had to put in codes, stop. It was not easy to just go grab something from there. One time she went to check on, after showing, she went to check on if the house was locked properly or not. So she really is willing to learn, will be very successful because of all her hard work and always being out there looking for opportunities, picking up phone calls. That is the biggest um, tool you have to being successful.
I agree. I
I
absolutely
appreciate
agree.
that, Nina. And wait, I actually had it in my notes because, I have all these things to say, but that was one of the things that I was going to say. My very first open house was with Nina. And we know Nina is top of the top of the top. And when I went to that open house, she sat and we talked and she gave me such good advice. And anytime that I've needed, if I've had a question about something, I have picked up the phone and called Nina, and Nina has picked up. I don't care if Nina is in another country. She has picked up the phone to answer my little itty bitty questions. Her husband has been helpful. There have been everyone in the brokerage, and that's what this is really a community and a family. This is why I love it here, because you truly can reach out to any one of the people, all of the top earners. You can reach out to them and they are fully willing to help and answer your questions. And that's what is so valuable about being here.
I agree. I would say another big thing about Jen that I love is my mentor. One of my mentors told me a long time ago that you never stop showing up. The minute you stop showing up, that's when your bank account stops showing up. Jen always shows up for everything.
I
She
truly agree with that.
Right. She
I
shows up for
try.
every training that we have, and not even just here, but she's showing up for every other event that's going on. She shows up to everywhere. She constantly shows up where you don't expect her to be. And she's always out there. She always has this, bright personality that's, drawing a light to her. And she just constantly, every single day refuses to not be seen. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing in our industry,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
to not have a day where you're being a secret agent. She
Right.
doesn't have any days where she's a secret agent.
Yeah.
0 days of that. Every day she's looking for the next person to let them know who she is, what she does, how she can help them. Every single day. There's not a day that goes by that she's, not talking about real estate or not being seen. So I think that's a big plus and a big thing for us to take away from Jen, is to show up, be active, participate, and put yourself out there in places you never thought you would possibly be in. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, because I'm definitely making connections that, sometimes it's weird. You think, especially in some of these realtor focused events, you're like, well, they're doing what I'm doing. How can they help me? But sometimes they little tips and tricks that they're doing might help you in your business. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling like every time I'm interacting with people, there's an opportunity to learn something from them. And so I feel like that's why I try to continuously put myself out there in all these different places and spaces. And also how you were saying what other mantra, like literally every morning when I meditate, I ask God, how can I be of service today? And so the only way you can be of service is to be out there around people doing it, to find out what people need you for. So
Mhm. I agree. I'm going to continue showing up. But
yeah.
all right, you guys have a great weekend.